about from your armpit to your wrist, roughly about this long. Now, when we made our fire video, the first one, we found out all the books have curved bows, but we found that a straight bow works better because everything's in line. So if you can get a piece of straight or a straighter piece of wood, it works. This is just cove molded. So if you want to make one at home, you can just get any stick. It doesn't matter what it's made of. This happens to be made of oak, so it's not doesn't give very much. Ideally, hickory would be nice because it's bend a little bit. You need a cord. What could you use as a cord?
550.
550? Shoelace. Hoodie cord. Vines don't work very well. You can use the bark off of a hickory tree. Take a vertical bark about 18 inches long, twist it about 6 times, and you can just wedge it in the top and bottom. Because if you have a branch like this would make a good bow. It's curved even, but it's nice to have it warm. You just kind of tie it on here and hold it back. Mulberry bark works, or you can go up to a plant like the dog bane and use that. And there's a technique called reverse wrapping. It's a way to make cordage that's strong enough that you can make bow drill fire on it. So that's your cord. You need a fireboard. Now this one I've used quite a bit, you can see. But all it is a flat piece of wood, and it's nice to have a flat piece of wood. People say, well, you can't find a flat piece of wood in the woods, though. Sure you can. This was a log. You take your knife or an axe and split it once. You have a half a log. Move your axe over an inch, split it again, you have your board. I'll show you how to burn these in. You can use a fireboard like you can see here multiple times. The trick here is you're going to need to make a little notch in here. So when you burn this in, you have this notch, that's where your dust is going to fall. Spindle. This is just a branch off of a tree. And what you do at one end, now if you have your knife, you can use your knife to sharpen this. If you don't have a knife, just find a rock and abrade it. Just rub it and rub a point on it. So one end you want very pointy. Like this. And the other you want relatively flat. So now people always ask, well, does the wood matter? And the answer is yes. The best wood to use for this would be poplar, cedar, basswood, sycamore would work, cottonwood. But it would be, it's easier to me to tell you just any wood that you can dig your fingernail in and leave a mark is good for a bow drill. So oak's a little too hard, pine's a little too soft. I've had made fires with oak. It took me a while. And pine, I've made fires with them, but if it's real dry, it'll work. Pine tends to be a little bit resinous. So again, the object here is you're spinning this back and forth. Now you can't spin it fast enough with your hands, so we're going to use the bow to give us a mechanical advantage. As you're spinning it, you're rubbing 2 pieces of wood, you're getting friction. That's going to create wood dust. That wood dust is going to fall into the notch, and the heat from here is going to transfer into the wood dust. The wood dust has to get up to 780 degrees before it starts glowing red hot. When it glows red hot, that's your coal. And to spin this, we need some kind of handhold. You can use a bone. By handhold, I mean this way, so you're going to be bowing. So you need a bearing block. This little indentation will work. You can use soapstone, carve it. And you guys said some of you go deer hunting. Next time you go, get the astragalus bone from the knee of the deer. Right there. and there's a little indentation in there, you can use that as your handhold. You can use wood. I make these wood blocks. If you're using wood, you don't need to lubricate the top, but if you don't lubricate it, you're making two fires, one down here and one in your handhold. So it's good to lubricate this with something. Beeswax, if you can find beeswax. Some people say the nose, besides their nose, or from their ears. So if you're a real dirty person, you can get wax from your ears and nose. Some people just carry a little bit of Vaseline with them, for their lips and stuff. Not a bad idea to carry with you. A little tube of Vaseline. Do you need it? No. Is it worth carrying? Yes. Size and weight, it's small. Can it be used for more than one thing?
Yes.
Well, we saw what Vaseline does with cotton. Used to lubricate your handhold. Used for your lips. Used a lot of different ways. So I like to use, I found this years ago. It's a piece of snowflake obsidian. It's real nice. I pecked a little hole in there. So it's a nice natural handhold. And then we need something to catch the coal on, which is just a leaf. Again, you don't want to use a live leaf because it's wet. Grab a little leaf or something to catch the sun. Because I'm assuming, here's something cool too. This knife, the Anyoic you've seen, we made this. We made a little divot in the handhold. So if you want, it's a little dangerous. You have your blade, I agree, but again, your handhold's in your knife if you wanted to put your handhold right there. I need to find a coal catcher. Dead leaf. What we actually do for the class, I'll give you one of my business cards as the coal catcher, so when you get your first bow drill fire, burn it a little bit, and that'll be kind of a remembrance. So I'll go get that.